it's Nikki. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new, and welcome to today's video. Also, if you like what you see, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I would love to have you back. And anyway, let's get on into today's video. So today we are going to be talking about my experiences growing up hearing impaired. And while we talk about that, I'm going to be putting on makeup since I'm filming another video after this. So, you know, figured we could get ready together. But if you want to know what I'm putting on my face, it'll be down in the description below, since I want to focus on more of what I want to talk about with my hearing and not so much on the makeup. And anyway, on to my childhood, which was a mildly traumatic experience, and you'll hear about why. So basically, to start off the story about my hearing, let's just talk about how my hearing actually is. So basically, I was born hearing impaired. It definitely runs in the family. So it's like a kind of moderate hearing loss, they say. More of like a moderate to severe type thing. So I have needed hearing aids my whole life. I got them when I was about 8 years old. I honestly should have gotten them when I was 9 months old. But, you know, we've advanced since then. I'm a little frustrated with my parents that they made the decision to wait that long, despite knowing that I couldn't hear. It was very obvious. But anyway, you know, things happen, so moving on from that. So, as you could potentially imagine, when you are basically lacking a sense for the first 8 years of your life, you are going to end up a bit behind in your social development. So I absolutely was. I remember in daycare, I was like really sad all the time. You know, I kind of tried to play with the other kids, but it was hard because I really wasn't able to hear them. And where my siblings at home knew that they had to talk directly into my ears in order for me to be able to hear them, the kids at my daycare obviously didn't. And, you know, kids definitely like don't always understand things like that, which is fine. So basically, I spent my days at daycare just waiting for the time when I got to get picked up and go see my grandparents, and that was always the best part of the day. So anyway, let's move on to elementary school. I basically spent, honestly, a lot of my time, even as a little kid, basically depressed, and at recess I would sit under a tree and cry. Like, was I okay? Probably not. So yeah, I found it really hard to play with the other kids because I had a hard time hearing them, and then once I did finally get hearing aids at like 8 years old, so I was in grade 3, basically my social skills were just so messed up. Like, I remember in like grade 5, we were playing dodgeball, and when I got hit, I would basically just like start crying. And I remember getting yelled at by my gym teacher. And like, I understand that like a kid your age shouldn't be like this. I understand that, but also, I don't know, it was like in 2 years, I was, you know, catching up on like 10 years of social development. So that was definitely hard. Also, if you're wondering why I am able to speak normally, basically it's just because of the tones that I'm missing. Like, I'm able to hear voices, so that's why I can talk normally. Nothing wrong with, you know, your hearing impacting your speech. But if you're wondering, you know, that's why I don't have that. So I'm gonna say it's probably more because of my social skills than anything that caused me to get bullied. So I was bullied a lot. 6th grade, I would say, was definitely the worst. We lived in a really small town, like under 1,000 people. And her mom was the principal at the high school, and they were kind of a family who... There's a lot of families in that town who basically think they're like exceptionally important. She's definitely from one of them. She decided she was going to basically treat me terribly, and my class at the time was probably like 15 kids or something. So, I don't know, wasn't a whole lot of groups. It was kind of those like popular 4 girls, and then, you know, there was kind of like a group of outcasts, and the boys were just kind of their own thing. So basically in 6th grade, this girl did her best to turn absolutely everyone on me. You know, even the people that didn't participate in it were, you know, they didn't feel comfortable helping me because they didn't want to be targets themselves. But even some of the guys who were honestly pretty oblivious sometimes, even some of them were realizing how bad it genuinely was for me. So yeah, that was definitely a hard time in my life. So let's talk about some of the employees at that school. So there was this woman, she was, I don't know what her title was, but she was supposed to be helping me with stuff regarding my hearing and getting resources and stuff, which really didn't happen. I think a lot of it was because I got really good grades. So basically I think it was just, I was deemed that I didn't really need help. So whatever, it was what it was. So yeah, she really was not helpful at all. And then, okay, so you know how you are always told that if you're getting bullied, you should go and, you know, tell a teacher, tell an adult, they'll be able to help you. I think we all know that that really is never the case, but especially in my case, it was not my experience at all. Let me get started on my concealer and then we will get into why. Okay, so at recess, I would get bullied a lot, and like especially, you know, like grade 6 was definitely the worst of it. I'm gonna say this probably happened in grade 6, potentially grade 7, but I'm thinking it was grade 6. These girls were just being awful, and they would say this stuff, like they would say stuff behind my back, for sure. But they would, you know, openly say stuff to my face. And the one time I was really upset, and I think this teacher asked what's wrong or whatever. And so I tell her the things that these girls were saying straight to my face, all of this stuff. And this woman, Mrs. Myers, I'm gonna say your name because this was awful, and these girls who bullied me, they were awful too, but I mean, at least they were kids, and I want to say I'd be lying if I said I think they're the best people ever, but they definitely have learned. But Mrs. Myers, you have been a teacher for how long, and you're going to tell a kid with a hearing disability who is getting severely bullied that she heard it wrong. And yeah, a lot of this probably has to do with, you know, the politics of being in a small town and everything else, but it genuinely was horrible. You know, things like this happened decently often. I wasn't, you know, given help because I was doing well academically, and of course that's the only thing that matters, right? No other aspects of your life matter, right? Obviously, you guys know, I'm kidding. It's very wrong. Other aspects of your life honestly matter a lot more. And when other aspects of my life were, you know, not thriving, it was somehow my fault for hearing it wrong. I was getting upset over things that I heard wrong. The girls weren't being mean to me, right? I just heard it wrong. Also, I wish I could say that my home life was significantly better, but I would be lying if I said that. Also, this is Penny. Say hi to Penny. Hey, Pen. Baby girl. Alright, so as I was saying, my home life. Obviously, I did not get discriminated against by my parents. However, there was definitely some stuff that went on. Also, my camera battery is about to die. Let me go switch that. Oh my god, that blush is pigmented. That was a bad idea. Bad idea. So, what was going on, you may ask? Well, essentially, I was being blamed for being bullied. That makes sense, right? Let me explain. I was told that I shouldn't be letting it affect me, that I should be fighting back, which, no, I don't think punching her in the face is gonna fix anything, but okay, Mom. And yeah, I remember many nights of being essentially locked in the kitchen. My parents had blocked the doorway and not let me leave to go to my room, even though I was crying hysterically and I just wanted to be away from everything and calm down. I was essentially forced to stay in the kitchen and get screamed at because I was really depressed because I have depression. And my life was living hell and there was no way to escape it. And brows are done. They are definitely not twins, but they're kind of related, so that's what matters, I guess. So yeah, essentially, back to my story. I would be basically locked in the kitchen, getting screamed at for being bullied and depressed and everything else, so I really had no safe space, and that led me to turn to self-harm, so that's always pleasant. Anyway, makeup is done, and also I really don't think I have much left to talk about regarding my experience with growing up hearing impaired. Growing up with these babies, very cute. I don't know how well you could see that. I don't know how well you wanted to. Yeah, that was my experience growing up hearing impaired and getting bullied, since the two do tie quite closely together. You know what, I want to finish this off by saying, please, if you're having kids, make sure you get them tested, so make sure they can see and hear and everything else. And if they can't, get them hearing aids or glasses right away. Don't say, oh, they're so young, they don't deserve it. They're not worth spending the money on it, which is basically what my family said. My family was kind of advised by other family members that, you know, she's so little, she's not worth spending the money on hearing aids. And it's absolutely worth it. Your kid deserves to be able to hear and see and develop properly. Anyway, I think that's it from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I don't typically make videos talking about being hearing impaired and everything, but with that being said, I definitely want to do my part to spread, you know, a bit of education, a bit of awareness on basically the fact that anyone can, you know, have a disability and have struggled with it, and you might not notice. And also, it's always important to be really open-minded and to treat people with respect, even if they are a little different than you. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!